Tonight in the World Wide Web of Weird, we're going to start out with a Chinese Nessie. That's Loch Ness kind of Nessie, but it's not in the loch. It's in China. This comes from the Mirror. All right, from the Mirror here. Chinese Nessie filmed emerging from lake in creepy mobile phone footage as witnesses scream in horror. Let me get that video up. We're streaming tonight, of course, as usual, out to Facebook Live and to Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. And for people just listening tonight, if you ever want to see these videos, I do have the videos up on our Paranormal Soup World Wide Web of Weird playlist. And I also later on just edit just the World Wide Web of Weird down to a video on our Facebook page and on YouTube, so you can always check it out later. So you can see the videos and photos and stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Chinese Nessie filmed emerging from lake in creepy mobile phone footage as witness scream in horror. Now we're not going to play the sound of them screaming and stuff, and it's all in Chinese anyways. Rumors of a Chinese Nessie are rife after reports an underwater monster was spotted emerging from a lake in China. Officials are believed to be investigating after mobile phone footage appeared to show a shadowy shape lifting its head out of the water. The eerie video has gone viral on social media with over 5 million views and shows a grainy image, of course, of what appears to be a beast now known as the Chinese Nessie. It's really grainy, and it's, of course, even more grainy when we share it on here. Like I said, you can check it out on YouTube, but I don't know. It just looks like a big swell, but you will hear these people. You see it like there's something moving in the middle of the circle. You kind of see something, but, it's not very detailed. I don't know, but it's interesting, what's getting stirred up over there in China in a lake. You wonder, we have, Champ, we have Nessie, of course there's going to be other places in the world that might have those kind of creatures. If those exist, why not in China? All right, let's move on to the next article. This comes from Unexplained Mysteries here. If my article will load, factory workers faint over ghost possession. Now, we've had countless stories about schools being, evacuated due to kids freaking out, saying they're possessed. And now it's happening not just in schools, it's happening at a workplace. Now, I've commented, maybe these kids have been trying to get out of school by acting like they're possessed. It's a possibility. It's like, hey, that kid's got out of school. Now, has it spread over to the workforce? Factory workers faint over ghost possession. This was posted on Wednesday, August 9th. A garment factory in Cambodia was recently at the center of a case of mass hysteria involving 35 workers. The incident, which occurred in a factory at the Canada Industrial Park on Monday, was sparked by a rumor of suggesting that one of the workers had become possessed by a ghost. One by one, the other employees reportedly started to faint upon hearing the news and had to be taken to a private clinic to recover. By the time the day was over, 35 of them had taken ill. There was a news spreading amongst the workers that one of them was possessed by a ghost spirit and was yelling for chicken to eat, said Bon Van, chief of the Coalition of Cambodian Apparel Workers Democratic Union. This information scared the other workers, and they started to faint one by one. All of them were sent for treatment at a private clinic near the garment factory. According to Mr. Van, this is not the first time something like this has happened either. At some garment factories in Canada Industrial Park, it happened more than 10 times already. He said some workers were brought to Takeo province to see Khmer magic sorcerers. In a few cases, owners of the factories bought chickens to sacrifice at pagodas. I guess this is something that's been happening in these factories. But you wonder, it's like, hey, so-and-so at the other factory, he got out of work for a week because they thought it was haunted or people were getting possessed. I don't know. Or maybe there's really stuff. It always seems to be, I've been waiting for something like, what does this happen in America? Is it a cultural thing? I don't know. And I'm not trying to be insulting. It's really interesting to me, these outbreaks of possession. I mean, it's definitely a different cultural perspective. They really do believe you can be possessed. I believe you can be too, but not everybody in this country does. So I don't know. It's really weird, these mass possession or sicknesses or this hysteria that is caused by these kind of things. You just don't see that too much here in America or anything like that. Not since probably the Salem witch trials, But all right, let's move on here. This one's really cool. This is totally Star Trek, in my opinion. It's another one that comes from Unexplained Mysteries. Scientists create breakthrough healing device. This was on Tuesday, August 8th. Like I said, Unexplained Mysteries, known as tissue nanotransfer transfection or transfection. Nanotransfection, okay, TNT. The technology can begin repairing injuries in less than a second. It might sound like something out of an episode of Star Trek, but according to scientists at the Ohio State University, this remarkable new technology can begin healing even the most serious of injuries almost immediately and has the potential to save many lives. Taking the form of a silicon chip that simply needs to be placed on the patient's skin, the healing system injects genetic code into the cells, turning those cells into other types of cells. What this means is that if someone has injured their leg, or for example, the chip could turn some of the patient's skin cells into vascular cells to help repair the damage. In one recent laboratory experiment, the team was able to restore brain functionality in a mouse that had suffered a stroke by using technology to turn some of its skin cells into brain cells. With no known side effects and with the capacity to be deployed pretty much anywhere without training, the silicon patches could revolutionize the treatment of injuries and diseases. The team is currently waiting FDA approval to begin human trials later this year. It seems so quick. Could it be dangerous, though? I mean, if it could turn any cells into something else, it sounds like it could be dangerous. And then, of course, you got the anti-chip people, which I totally get, because I say hell no to a lot of these things about people getting chips, like companies implanting chips in employees. This thing shouldn't be permanent. It would heal you, but it's more about this technology and chips that I know scares some people. And me a little bit too, but I'm also somebody that's not going to cringe away from discovering a new way to heal somebody or save lives. So this could be really cool. I love the Trek. I love the Star Trek.
Especially after it's gone on for a little bit, you could see how everybody else is doing with it, then think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it sounds so cool. I mean, because you see them in Star Trek with like a tricorder, and they just like hold it up to the injury, and it like starts to heal itself or something like that. I love sci-fi. I love the idea of the future of Star Trek and all that, and it'd be great, especially to talk about for the brain, what it could do to heal the brain. But how do they get it inside the brain? I don't know. But
that would be incredible.
We're advancing every day with this stuff, and it's amazing and awesome and scary too. Okay, let's move on to article number 4. We talked about this on the World Wide Web of Weird a few weeks ago. And this has been totally viral. I'm sure a lot of people watching the show right now have seen this. Is possessed China doll strikes again. This is from Daily Mail Online. Mother sells it for 1,000 pounds on eBay after it scratched her husband, only for the new owner to claim his father has now been attacked too. Let me see. Here we go. A haunted doll flogged on eBay after it left its owner terrified and covered in scratches has struck again. Debbie Merrick's creepy figure appeared on ITV this morning after she revealed its spooky antics, which including setting off fire alarms and removing its own necklace. Lee Steer from Rotherham, South Yorkshire, bagged the coveted creepy item for 866 pounds after a tense international bidding war between paranormal enthusiasts. Jeez. But just 2 days after the doll arrived at the 30-year-old paranormal investigator's home where he lives with his parents, Paul and Amy Steer, it struck again. Lee's father, Paul, 54, discovered scratches on his arm, mimicking those supposedly inflicted on Debbie's partner that were thought to be the same size as the doll's hand. Jeff should pull up a picture here in a second of what the guy's arm was with the scratches. My dad was downstairs in the morning at this point, and the doll was still packed away, and he heard like a tapping noise on wood, he said. It was a bit unusual. There's the picture of his arm. For people on Late Night in the Midlands listening in and can't see, he's holding on his arm in this picture. You can see this really weird scratch. It almost looks like he was trying to write something, kind of like a rune symbol or something in his arm. It's really, you can definitely tell it's a scratch. Lee said, my dad was downstairs in the morning at that point. The doll was still packed away, and he heard like a tapping noise on wood. He said it was a bit unusual. Later that day, he was watching the repeat of one of our live streams with the doll. I was doing a live stream upstairs in my room. And then he said to my mom, my arm's hurting. He lifted up his sleeve, and he had 6 scratches on his arm. My mom shouted at me, Lee, you best get downstairs. Your dad's getting affected. He's got scratches on him. It seems pretty similar to the scratches on Debbie's husband, the original owner, from what I can tell. We have no idea where they came from. Lee's father, Paul, 54. Oh, here we go. My dad is a believer. He said he's not happy with it being in his house. Yeah, you live at home, and you're going to buy haunted dolls or haunted objects. You best get your own place. That's what I think. And this isn't the only odd experience Lee claims to have said since bringing the doll home into his home with more strange noises, flickering lights, and broken artifacts all noted. Lee said, we're putting stuff away that weekend before it arrived and started talking about it, and all of a sudden a picture I have on my wall called The Crying Boy started swinging on its own. We've gone months without anything unusual happening, and as soon as this doll was mentioned, things started to happen. I have another picture propped up on the floor in the dark. I could hear the sounds, and when I put the light on, it looked, and the picture frame had completely dismantled itself. We did a live stream opening of the doll that 35,000 people watched. Wow. And a light I used was flickering. It was like a strobe. It was the first time that had ever happened, and people contacted me saying they could see the doll's eyes moving. I've used random words apps that some people believe spirits can manipulate, ITC, which we do on the show. When I've asked it, it said its name is Samantha. When I said really wanted to piss it off, it said Strike Lee. It's a random words that it shouldn't be making sense. Strike Lee, of course, struck his father. This article you find on the Daily Mail online. I don't want to read the whole thing. It's pretty long, but, you know, haunted dolls, I believe, are possible. I believe objects can hold energy and stuff. You know, this person bought this doll originally with 2 other dolls that looked pretty much alike, but she felt it was this doll that would do weird stuff, move, take its necklace off. You know, there's a lot of scammers out there, though, with these haunted dolls and stuff. People want to look. They had a bidding war on this once it got popular. It makes me mistrust any of the stories I hear about haunted dolls. We'll have to keep an eye on this one and see what happens. I mean, these people could, I'm not, you know, I don't know these people, but you have to consider the possibility that, okay, we got the doll. It's not haunted. What do? We want our money back. Well, let's say it's haunted and say you got scratched, and let's make it go, the bid go higher. I mean, I'm just pointing out something.
And it's that kind of stuff that gives paranormal, it makes everybody start second guessing, and you always have that in the back of your mind when you look at evidence or look at a story.
Yeah. And Rob Autry has just joined us too tonight. How you doing tonight, Rob?
Pretty good.
For people to check out, last night, Bill Perry, check out Pumpkinhead Paranormal's YouTube channel. Rob and Bill and Jamie were streaming, and right where we're looking at Rob here, you could see a shadow move behind him during that live stream. I saw it, and it was saying focus and window and all that, and then right on that window, we saw the shadow move. So check that out on Bill Perry's Pumpkinhead Paranormal YouTube channel. It's pretty awesome. We'll have to look at that at the next ITC show, which won't be this month. It'll be the next month after. All right, so we need to move on here. This is going to be number 5 of the articles. We only got 2 more here. So this next one, let's see here, is going to be from Beyond Reality News, Unexplained Mist filmed at the Lizzie Borden house. This is also the videos from Paranormal Globe. Let's see here. Reddit users Zilgid, I don't know how to pronounce how he says his name, shared a video on Reddit, of course Reddit, to try to find an explanation in what is unexplained mist that could be that he filmed while staying at the Lizzie Borden house in Massachusetts. Zilgid, I'm totally probably butchering it, explained that they had the whole house to themselves while staying overnight at the B&B as guests. They decided to explore the house and film it on their phone, but they never expected to capture mysterious mist in the bedroom. Around 55 seconds mark, you can see a mist hovering above the bed, above the pillow, near the bedside lamp. He said that they could actually see the mist while they were filming it, so if that's true, it could rule out light glare on the camera. So that, you know, that was one of the things I looked at it, and I thought, you know, before I read the article, I said, well, that could be light glare because you can see the lamp right there, and it looks like light glare coming off of it. Now, if we take their word for it, which we could, then if they saw it with their own eyes, then it wouldn't be light glare. Light glare will happen with the camera. It won't happen so much with you looking at it with their eyes. So if they're seeing this mist and recording it, then, okay, I get it. The audio in it, I don't want to play, but you can hear it, and you listen to them talk about it. So they were seeing it. So that kind of rules out that being light glare, so it's something weird. They went back 30 minutes later, but the mist was no longer there. Some Reddit comments believe it could actually be a spirit, while others believe it to be just a glare from the lamp. One Reddit user commented, holy, you know what, now I can canceling my trip. I'm supposed to go there. No, that makes me want to go. If we're going to go to Lizzie Borden house, don't you want to go and see ghosts? I don't know. In 1892, for people who don't know, Lizzie Borden was accused of murdering her father and stepmother with an axe in their home. Though Borden was acquitted, her name is still synonymous with a gruesome murder that to this day remains unsolved. The Lizzie Borden house is known for being haunted and spooky goings-on. Visitors have experienced noises being heard, floors creaking with no one around, and doors opening and closing by themselves. You know, I still look at it, it looks just like classic light glare off the lamp, but like I said, if they're seeing it with their eyes, it wouldn't be. I don't know what you guys think of it.
Look at the way it's reflecting off the wall too. The way the lamp, it just looks like the light is being pulled somehow and reflected off the wall, off the lampshade.
Yeah, it's odd, but
But
it,
it's
it looks like
odd,
light.
yeah.
It does look like light, but like I said, if it's true, they saw it with their own eyes. You kind of hear them talk a little bit, but it's not really straightforward if they say they're seeing it or not. I don't know. It just, if they saw it with their own eyes, I get it. It's definitely a mist. It's something, you know. But I mean, it's cool. You know,
I agree.
I watched that Christina Ricci, Lizzie Borden thing. It's totally not historical at all, but it was entertaining. But I always found Lizzie Borden Unsolved Murders. I love that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Me too. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, it's definitely on my bucket list of places I'd want to see. All right, last up, since we're talking UFOs, I saved this for last on the World Wide Web of Weird. This comes from the SquamishChief.com, local news website for town of Squamish. Large UFO caught on video in Squamish. Visit. Well, that's not it. That's what we're going to talk later tonight. Is the Kenneth Arnold case. That's that link I gave you, Jeff. You can get it from YouTube. He's trying to pull it up here. Hopefully he gets it because this video is pretty cool. Crap. I hope he can get it up here. It's on my Paranormal. There it is. That's it. All right. Large orb captured on video near the Squamish. Now, they totally spell it differently in this article than they do it. Squamish Chief has excited documentary and researchers from London, Ontario. Rob Freeman and Marcus McNabb have traveled to 11 countries and 30 cities in the past 3 years, determined to record what is out there and after being inspired from a childhood experience. Freeman, a senior field researcher for the Center for the Scientific Studies of Atmospheric Anomalies, said the sighting is best footage they have recorded to date. This is such a fascinating path that we're on, Freeman said. Most people have no idea what is happening in this world. The pair initially started out to make a documentary, but McNabb now describes it as a movement. To collect data, the crew used night imaging technology spanning electromagnetic spectrum to see the visible and invisible, as was the camera finally called the weapon of mass detection. When the crew arrived in Squamish on July 22nd, a stranger at the Britannia Mine gift shop told them special things shine on the tree trail. It was breathtakingly majestic, Freeman said on the rock face. As night fell, they entered the forest. Soon after, he said, a giant sphere of light moved across the sky and descended into the woods. At first, we thought it was an airplane, Freeman said. This was absolute, but it had absolutely no sound. Then we absolutely knew it was no airplane. The sighting was brief, but Freeman recorded about 10 seconds after rummaging for gear. The trees behind the orb were all lit up, he explained. That means it was in front of the trees. They planned the trip to BC, British Columbia, specifically to meet Charles Lamrou, a Vancouver-based online skywatcher featured in a local news report, documents an inexplicable phenomenon often seen them moving over Cyprus and towards Horseshoe Bay. He made his own film, Nocturnal Lights, and is currently working on a paranormal program. Orbs can vary in size, known to blink amber or white when zipping off, he explained. I've always been interested. I mean, I think orbs like this, or if this is not an airplane or a helicopter and they're saying there's no sound, I think... And I've seen the video. There really is no sound. You hear them talking. There's something else, like, because the Native Americans talked about this kind of stuff. They've seen these lights, and there's a lot of these ghost lights like this. This one's really bright.
Look how it floats through the tree, like the way it's almost stopped and like floated through the tree.
I think this is pretty credible footage, but
yeah, it didn't like just keep going.
Is it something else than an ET flying a craft? Is it something more interdimensional? Or ghost.
That's almost how it feels like to me when I look at it.
Yeah,
it's so bright though.
It is very bright.
Pretty cool looking.
So I mean, I don't know what that could be, but it's perfectly round. It's completely.
What were those
bright.
3 lights at the big? Those other little reflections.
I don't know. But it's interesting, and this is one of the best video footages I've seen of what people call ghost lights or the Indian lights. So. It'd be interesting if they get anything more while they're doing this. It's a really interesting video. Like I said, for people listening on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network, you can find this, the World Wide Web of Weird, on our Paranormal Soup YouTube channel. It usually comes up about 2 or 3 days after the show. I have a video up of just the World Wide Web of Weird. And the videos are always linked on our Paranormal Soup World Wide Web of Weird playlist on our YouTube channel. So check it out there. And for people watching on Facebook, you can, if you have trouble watching on Facebook, you have internet problems or whatever, you maybe do better with internet radio, you can go to Late Night in the Midlands radionetwork.com and listen there, or on TuneIn to Late Night in the Midlands, and just listen to the show if you can't watch it. So always check that out. All right. Well, I cannot wait. We got to get to our first commercial break because I want to get back to our guest, Bruce Maccabee. We talk about UFOs and the Kenneth Arnold first sighting that coined the term flying saucer.